We're turning now to the Hunter Biden investigation and an IRS agent's first TV interview since speaking to lawmakers as a whistleblower last month. This is a lead investigator exclusively telling CBS News he felt the president's son received preferential treatment and that he was blocked from pursuing investigative leads that could have led to the president himself. Chief Investigative Correspondent Jim Axelrod has this interview once again. Jim, good morning.
Good morning, Tony. Gary Shapley has been at the IRS for 14 years and told us that the way the Hunter Biden investigation was conducted was, in his words, quote, outside the norm.
If this was any other person, they likely would have already served their sentence.
Gary Shapley was a lead IRS supervisory agent in Operation Sportsman, the investigation into Hunter Biden. Shapley said he uncovered conduct that warranted more serious charges.
There were personal expenses that were taken as business expenses. Prostitutes, sex club memberships, hotel rooms for purported drug dealers.
How much did Hunter Biden owe in taxes?
So from 2014 to 2019, it was $2.2 million.
The back taxes were paid off, and last week, the Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney in Delaware, David Weiss, reached an agreement with Hunter Biden. The president's son would admit to a firearm charge and plead guilty for his failure to pay taxes. If a judge signs off, the deal means no jail time.
Testimony we have just released details a lack of U.S. attorney independence.
And Shapley told lawmakers that U.S. Attorney Weiss was blocked from bringing stronger charges. But U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said last week that Weiss was not.
I'd say he was given complete authority to make all decisions on his own.
And in a letter to House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan 3 weeks ago, Weiss himself wrote he had ultimate authority.
I documented exactly what happened, and it doesn't seem to match what the Attorney General or the U.S. Attorney are saying today.
Shapley provided lawmakers this contemporaneous email he wrote after an October meeting last year. Shapley says Weiss told him the opposite, that Weiss is not the deciding person on whether charges are filed.
It was just shocking to me.
Shapley, who is still working for the IRS, told us that even before President Biden took office, he was directed to avoid leads involving Hunter's father.
There were certain investigative steps that we weren't allowed to take that could have led us to President Biden.
And you wanted to take them?
We needed to take them.
And you weren't allowed to take them?
That's correct.
Now, it is important to point out that at that point in Shapley's investigation, Donald Trump was still president, and his Attorney General, William Barr, had rules in place that may have limited what Shapley could pursue. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Delaware had no comment. Hunter Biden's attorneys did not respond to us, but he has said before in a statement that he is taking responsibility for mistakes he made during a period of turmoil in his life.
The question is the scale of these mistakes and also the no comment from the Attorney General's office in Delaware. That's what we need to clear up.
Right. So Hunter Biden's camp points to David Weiss and say, look, this is a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, and he's saying he had ultimate authority, and this is what justice looks like to him, these charges. Now, he's saying he had full authority. Shapley told us yesterday, and this is critical, that on October 7th, 2022, David Weiss looked him and a bunch of others in the eyes and said, hey, there's things I can't do, there's limits, there's roadblocks. So which is it? The only guy who's not talking? David Weiss.
So far, anyway.
Yeah, what does that say to you, Jim, that he's not talking?
Well, U.S. attorneys, of course, are going to be very cautious about any, and remember, this hasn't been signed off by a judge yet, so we probably won't hear at least for a couple of weeks because there's no upside for the U.S. attorney.
There'll be some choppy waters between now and when that judge signs off or doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim.